Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how I made this 360 circle skirt without any seams and with an elastic waistband.
Something flavor.
First I folded my fabric in half and then in half again, so there was one fold on the side, two on the top, and then the bottom has 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. Because this is a circle skirt, we do have to find our radius, which is really simple. I just took my waist measurement, which is 28 in this case, and divided that by 6.28 to get my radius of 4.45 inches. And it doesn't matter what your waist measurement is, you're always going to divide it by that 6.28. I took my measuring tape and I measured down to 4.5 inches. And I pinned that down to the corner of my fabric and just moved the ruler over and marked at 4.5 inches, which is where I made a mistake. I should have left a 1/2 inch of seam allowance and made my marking on the 4, but we just accounted for that later by making the waistband a little bit longer. And for the length, I wanted it to be about 15 inches long. So from the 4.5 mark, I measured down 15 inches and then added about a 1/2 inch of seam allowance and made my mark at the 20-inch point, and then just did the same thing that I did for the top. I moved my ruler around and just connected the markings. And then I had just cut out the lines that we traced. Once it was all cut, I just opened it up and flipped it inside out and just hemmed that by taking the raw edge, flipping it over, pinning it down, and then sewing it all the way around. I used a double overlock stitch because it sews it together and acts as a serger for the raw edge so that the fuzzies don't fray everywhere. But if you don't have that stitch on your machine, just do a zigzag stitch over the edges and it'll prevent the raw edges from fraying. Once this was hemmed, I began working on the waistband, and it does need to be cut longer than the actual waist measurement. At first, I marked it at 35 inches, however, because I didn't leave seam allowance when I was initially cutting the fabric, I did have to add a few more inches to the band later on. Then I just measured the width at about 3 inches, marked it all the way down, and cut out the fabric. And I sewed a straight stitch along the top and along the bottom. I then flipped that inside out, and this is what the waistband is looking like. To attach the waist to the skirt, I flipped the skirt in half and then I pinned at either edge, and then I grabbed the skirt in the middle and I flipped the middle pieces to now be the two sides, and then I pinned up those sides again so that I would have 4 reference points equally spaced apart. And then I basically did the same thing to the band. I folded it in half and then pinned up the sides, grabbed it in the middle again, and then pinned up those two sides so that I would have my 4 reference points again. So then I just opened up the skirt on the inside, and then I lined up the pins from my waistband to the skirt. And I clipped those together and then sewed all the way around. Once we got to the ending, I just backstitched. I didn't close up the waistband so that the elastic would be able to go from one side to the other. Then I already cut my elastic at the 28 inches long, and I had attached a safety pin to the end and used that safety pin to hold on to as I scrunched the elastic through the waistband. And after doing this for some time, the elastic finally made it through to the other side, and we got to marry them together by sewing them down really, really well. And then to close the waistband, I just tucked the one side into the other side. And then just took my time to fold in all the raw edges of the other side. And then I just went over that with a stitch all the way around to keep it shut. And boom, our 360 circle skirt without any seams and with an elastic waistband is all finished. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.